Communication Failures by Miles Biermeyer, National American University, online. The biggest key to success in project management is communication. Without communication, there is no hope for a project manager to be successful. Communication is the relay of information from sender to receiver. The project manager must act as both sender and receiver. Every communication requires a medium for the communication to take place. It is recommended that project managers acquire versatility in their communication medium skills so that they are able to communicate effectively on whichever medium the other party chooses to use. Every communication can be considered a message. These messages need to be deciphered correctly by the project manager when they receive them and distribute them to the project team to carry out proper actions and tasks to achieve the specifications of the deliverable and keep the project within scope. The message carries the important information that is trying to be conveyed. To know that the receiver understood the content of the message requires feedback. By utilizing these techniques, a project manager can effectively communicate with the stakeholders and project team to ensure that all relevant information is conveyed to these people in a way that shows they understand the message. In some cases, even when someone acknowledges they understand the message, that does not mean they do. Finding the right person for the job is difficult. When companies promote from within, they need to train the employees so they have the skills required to be successful in their new position. Many companies fail to do this, assuming that the person will acquire these skills as they gain experience in their position. This method is ineffective, and in many cases, like this one, it leaves a promoted person in a terrible position. They don't have the skills they need to be successful, and the project begins to fall apart. Project success comes from meeting the expectations of everyone who stands to benefit from the project. Herb may have been the right person for the job, but because he had no training on the skills he would need, he failed. Therefore, because of his lack of project management skills, Herb was definitely the wrong person for the job. There was a major communication breakdown between Herb and Alice. Alice had told Herb that she was trying to get a promotion. She implied that she wanted Herb to write a letter of recommendation for her, but he clearly did not understand. Alice encoded a message which Herb clearly could not decode, nor did he offer any feedback. There was a total breakdown of communication with Alice. Bob had established with Herb a chain of communication that he expected for better communications with the R&D team. Bob did not explain how communication with his team was to be conducted because he told Herb all communication went through him. When Herb broke the chain of command and encoded a message to the R&D team that they refused to decode because it was not written down. This lack of feedback caused the R&D team to move forward without taking that message and applying it to their measurements. Betty was the procurement manager. She was given the responsibility of finding the lowest price on materials and procuring them for the project. Herb had told her to only look into prices at this point, but she went ahead and purchased everything. Frank said the materials will go bad before they can be used. Herb relayed an encoded message to Betty, which she improperly decoded. Instead of asking her for feedback, Herb concentrated on other tasks. Betty took the initiative to buy the materials and really screwed up. The lack of communication caused a huge waste of resources. Frank felt that he was completely left out of the procurement process. With his experience in the company and industry, he had made contacts which would have allowed him to procure the materials at lower costs when they were needed. Herb completely screwed up communication with Frank. He gave Betty too much authority and should have included Frank in the material procurement process. This communication mistake will cause a project to go over budget and possibly fail altogether. Herb's lack of communication skills with all these four individuals was building to a boiling point. It just so happened to boil over in all four pots on Friday, the 13th. These are the references that I used to create this presentation. Thank you for viewing.